What's up, fam? Welcome back to the Steep Stuff Podcast. I'm your host, James Lauriello, and I'm so excited to bring you guys a Sunapee Scramble race preview episode with co-host Nick Tusa and race director Tom Hooper. Guys, I think you're going to enjoy this one. We break down all kinds of picks for you. We select, I select a top 10 kind of in both. And then we also get into the top 5 and all kinds of good stuff, as well as our who we think is going to be headed to the Pyrenees to represent Team USA at the Mountain Classic. Guys, this one's near and dear to my heart. Was really hoping to be racing this one. Definitely a really, really fun race. And I think this is going to be definitely one of the more competitive selection races ever assembled on American soil. So it's for sure going to be one to remember. So hope you guys enjoy this one. Without further ado, the Sunapee Scramble race preview episode.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live.
Tom Hooper, Nick Tusa, welcome to the Steep Stuff Podcast, boys. It's Sunapee Scramble week. How's it going?
Good. It's going well.
Good to have you guys. How's everybody doing? It's Friday. It's a Friday before the race. It's crazy. We've arrived. We're here. I feel like we've been talking about this for months, so I'm glad that we're able to all meet and convene and put together a solid pre-game, pre-race preview. So,
will we be as wrong as we were with Gorge as we are with Sunapee?
No, not at all. I'm dialed this time, dude. You're gonna be so impressed with my picks.
Okay.
I have statistics. I have the whole. I really like game plan this one for once. So yeah, we were pretty wrong with Gorge. That was not the best. Although we also, in our defense, we did it 3 months out. So
we did. It was a tad early.
Yeah, got a bit excited there. So yeah, Tom, how are you, man? You're probably pretty busy. Like it's
it's go time. Yeah, it's go time between this and all the other races that I'm putting on. It's go time. Yeah.
You know, dude, you never told me this. I didn't realize you were the RD for Cirque and Cannon and Killington as well.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. When I was out in Snowbird, Julian was talking about how he wanted to come out east, and he's like, "Are you in? Do you have the bandwidth?" And I said no, and he's like, "Yeah, let's do it anyways." No, I said yes. I said yes right away. I knew what kind of races he put on, so I'm like, hell yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, I'm super excited for both of them. I mean, obviously, I got to figure out. Like, hopefully, will be at Killington, just given some injury stuff. But like, both courses look pretty compelling, man. I mean,
they're crazy.
I've kind of game planned Killington a little bit more just because I was more sure on that one. But yeah, both courses look amazing, and it's going to be fun to throw down. It's kind of crazy, man. I didn't realize like you could get 3K of climbing in that little 7-mile loop. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, just because we don't have 14,000 footers here, everybody thinks you can't get a whole lot of vert. But you can get the vert, and it's super technical. You know, we have that joke going with Garrett and that crew about, this is so East Coast versus West Coast. So yeah, Cannon is crazy. That Kinsman Trail is no joke.
Yeah. And is Killington, is it more road, more service road with a little bit of like techie stuff, or what's that all about?
Yeah. The first 1.5 miles is a service road, but it's like Loon Mountain Race. Like it is super straight up service road. And then you bounce over the long trail a little bit and straight up to the summit. Nice. And then you kick out onto basically like a backwoods trail called Solitude. So it kind of takes you around the mountain, gives you some flowy running, and then it kicks you right into the, back into the bare mountain and out into the finish line.
Oh, nice. I'm excited, man. It's going to be fun. Let's get into Sunapee. I'm pretty happy with myself that I did not pronounce it Sunapee so far. So we're doing good points for that. So I think where we're at here is so race is going to be next Sunday, June 1st, 2025, for all those tuning in. This is the USATF Mountain Classic Champs. So this is going to be the selection race for where we're sending, and Tom, you can correct me on this if I get this wrong. It is going to be 4 men and 4 women, but technically 3 slots of the women given Grayson's spot. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah. Grayson was the world champion, so she gets an auto spot. So there'll be 4 men, 3 women.
Okay. And the course itself, this is 9.4 miles, 3,264-ish feet of climbing.
Yeah. I think it's closer to 9.2, but yeah, either or. So what we did is, normally Sunapee isn't that long, but the course in Spain is a 2-loop course. So, we were more than willing to change it to make it more so like the Spain course. So it's pretty dead on. It's going to be exactly like Spain.
Maybe get into that a little bit. Talk about both of the, maybe because the first loop is not necessarily the same as the second loop.
Correct. So all the same aid stations, but they're not quite the same loop. So the first loop you start, you go up the service road all the way to the summit. You come down in through the glades. You hit the starting line again. Then you go up half the service road and you get put onto the Newbury Trail. Newbury Trail is super technical. You take that all the way back up to the summit, and then you hit the glades on the way back down. The glades is really steep, really fast, really mushy. It's not fast in the sense of like road or granite rocks you can jump on. It's just a barren section of some mossy downhill sections.
Okay, nice. And I've heard for the second loop, it's basically a way more technical section that was kind of tacked on from last year's vertical race. Is that correct?
Yeah, we combined so when we had the selection race here 2 years ago, we had a vertical, which was on the technical section, and then we had a classic, which was just 2 loops of the auto road. Mm-hmm. So we had a meeting, at one point, and I think Grayson's the one that suggested that we do 2 different loops and put in the technical section on the second loop. So let's do it. We'll make it as hard as possible.
Nice. Big shout out to Grayson. I want to double back to some of the selection stuff, right? So right. I know Paul had sent me some information. I didn't get full reading through it. How does it work with alternates for this race? How will they be chosen? Is it top X amount of folks or something like that are in the top 10 or anything like that? Or how does that roll?
Right. So the mountain selection, I'm not 100% sure on how it works, but usually, it's changed. It used to roll down. So long trail and short team, it doesn't roll down. It's resume. I believe that mountain rolls down. Okay. So say somebody like Remy comes in third,
yep,
not eligible, down to the next one, something like that. Yeah.
That's what I figured. Okay. That makes sense. Cool. All right. I think that's all I got for the course itself and some of the selection points. Is there anything you guys want to add? Nick, Tom, anything? No? All right.
I don't think so. Yeah.
All right. Let's get into storylines. I think there's some interesting, compelling storylines here. First thing I'd like to talk about is some notable absences that we're probably going to have. Just going into this, we've got a few dropouts with some early injuries, and I'm not going to disclose what anything is, but it's just Christian Allen's probably going to be iffy, probably not going to be there. David Sinclair seems to be a notable drop. Cade Michael is not going to be there. We've got Mika as well with an injury related. Garrett broke my heart. I was really pissed at Garrett. I was like, come on, man. Yeah. Garrett's not going to be there.
I think he's just too soft. I don't think he was going to make the team, and he just decided not to show up. I get it. I understand. It's all right, buddy. We still love you.
And then Grayson is going to be, game day decision probably, it seems like, based off the information she gave. And then Oakley Olsen, who I was really bummed about because I feel like Oakley was going to be a serious contender this year. She's not going to be making it because she is making she's either qualified for NCAAs, something like that. I forget how the collegiate system works, but she is going to be competing collegiately, so she's not going to be able to attend. Tom, one thing I did want to bring up that I wanted you to talk about is this race is also going to be the high school championship as well.
It's also collegiate. It's the collegiate national champions as well.
It's both. Okay. How does that work?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the Collegiate Running Association, this guy named Steve Taylor runs out of Pennsylvania. It is basically when kids are still in college, trying to get them into trail and mountain running. He hosts a national championship. Last year was Cirque Series Snowbird. And I believe Oakley won for that. Yeah. So it's surprising she doesn't want to come because they do put up a $3,000 prize purse. For the college kids. So if you've taken a college class in the last 365 days, you're eligible for that money. So it's a big deal. And then the high school, there is a national high school trail championship. It's held in Salida, Colorado every year. And Paul is a huge fan of that. He was, he was the person in charge of the U18 USATF team for under 18 kids. He wanted to make a regional. So we're like, let's do it. Let's see what we can do. We're just trying to basically get more of a feeder program. You know what I mean? There's not a whole lot of younger kids in our sport that are going straight from high school or college into trails. There's always that road piece in between. I feel like, everybody does their first 5K, 10K, half marathon, then they hit trails. It always seems to be like that. I definitely think there needs to be more of a feeder program in that where they know this is available.
I couldn't agree more. I think, especially from the mountain classic and vertical stuff that's a bit shorter, I think there's just like such an obvious kind of rollover, even from high school track and cross country. Like it's
cross country. It should be a no brainer.
You're right. It's not that hard to kind of move up and go into these distances. Like it's not like we're asking you to run 50 miles the first go. So it's interesting. One thing I wanted to double back on, I got to ask you this, because now that the long trail has been settled, it's been announced, we know who's going to be on the team and representing. Mm-hmm. Was that, you got to say, like, how stressful of a decision was that, trying to figure out, like, from an application perspective? Like, it couldn't have been an easy thing with all these people applying.
No. Yeah. And we had more people apply for just the long team than we've had in previous years apply for all 4 different teams, which is crazy. So, the amount of the depth of the resumes was ridiculous. So, I mean, of course, the top 2 were already auto selected. So you have 4. There's probably 3 that, are shoo-ins. That last spot was so hard to do. It was, any one of the 10 underneath could equally be the best choice of that for that spot. Yeah, it was tough.
You got inside baseball. How was the tiebreaker? How was that settled? Can you provide that information or no?
I don't think it was a tiebreaker. I think what the tiebreaker was, it was who was running what.
Okay.
If they were committed to UTMB, they probably got passed over. I think that was more of a thing versus, if they were like, well, I'll do Western, but then I won't run again. We reached out to every one of these people beforehand. You kind of do a little bit of a vetting process without making it too obvious, but you're like, oh, are you running, CCC, or are you running Western, or what's your, what's your choice for the summer? So it's, I think that was the biggest thing for the last 2 spots.
No, it makes sense. It's interesting. I just can't believe, well, hopefully everybody turns up healthy, but man, like that long trail team is going to be nasty. So both. It is.
And we did do 2 alternates as well. So backups, just because it's such a long season. I mean, when we picked this in April, people drop like flies. Look at this race.
Dude, everybody's injured. Yeah.
Right. So you throw in Western and a few other, training runs, and This could be we could be 10 people deep before we get our actual team.
Yeah, no, that's for sure, for sure. Okay, let's get into, I think we can move on to like some storylines and stuff like that. I think there's some good information there. We did talk about the high school champs, which I was happy about. I got to get into the, like some of the women, man. Like we had a late sign up in Ali Ostrander, which I was happy to hear about. Like that's pretty cool. I just find it like very interesting that like, especially on the women's side, this is going to be a race of like the old guard versus the new guard. And when I say old guard, I almost feel like Ali, Rachel, like Lauren, Anna almost. And you've got like some of these new girls, like Sophie Wright, who's a trail team selection, Emily Clark, Flannery Davis Love, Kyla Christopher Moody, like a lot of like really like new women to the scene. So it's going to be interesting. And the other thing too, is like, there's only 3 spots available with, without Grayson's spot. So it's one of those, whether it be Ali, Rachel, Lauren, Anna, someone's not going to Worlds, dude. That's going to be interesting.
Right. And then what happens if we have, because it's the collegiate, I don't know all these people that are part of the collegiate, right? So you have some of these Richmond, BYU, these track studs that come in and just throw down because one, they don't know what this is going to be like. So, is ignorance, does that help you out? Not knowing that how hard 9 miles is. They could go out with them or go out super fast. And it's going to be interesting to see if a dark horse just comes flying out of nowhere from college.
Yeah. Well, that's the question too, has that ever been done? Has there ever been an upset like that in our sport?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No.
The sport is so deep now. Like there's so much talent coming to it that, I think there's a lot. We're kind of ripe for opportunity for someone, like a random baller from college to come in and just, maybe we get our next Grayson out of this or something like that. You never know, So
yeah, I mean and I agree with the old guard versus the new guard. I don't know if I put Gibson in the middle. Yeah. I put Allie, Grayson, Lauren, and I don't mean age. I mean how many times have they been on Team USA together? Yeah, right. So it's just those 4 every time. So that was our biggest thing, is like just recruiting. Like, how do we get the next person? Not so much to knock these people off because they're all awesome, but it's like how do we get the next new story, right?
Yeah. I have a prediction, and I'm just going to throw this out early. I think Sophie Wright is the next one, in my opinion. Okay. Like former top 5 at Mountain Marathon, won the Cirque Series Alaska. She's an Alaskan mountain runner, very new to the scene. Been talking to her. I've heard her on the podcast a couple times now. And like just the, mile record holder at her university, just finished college this year. I feel like I'm going to message her after this and be like, yo, if you took a class in the last 365 days, if you do well, you can get that money. So, yeah, I think there's some new names I think we're going to see right up there in the top 5 of women that people have probably not heard of in the sport, which is going to be cool. Yeah. And the other question is too, like I haven't had Anna on the pod. She comes on next week. And she's in Zagama right now. Like she's going to race Zagama on not a ton of training. Like a smaller-ish build, racing Zagama, and then turns around and comes right back. So that's got to play into like a role into like, man, you're going to be so tired. At least I would be. But
you think so? Such a short distance.
I don't know.
That's the cool thing about sub ultra. I mean.
Well, I'll use this example. Nick, you can speak to this because like you and I have both done the double between Cirque Alta and then Grand Targhee. Like like last year I was pooped like that week at Targhee, just like way more tired than I was going into Alta, and it's a back-to-back race week. Did you feel the same way?
I think it's more manageable than a Zagama to this. I mean, Zagama is far longer. I mean, it's a marathon. It's a long time on feet. But turning it around and racing something shorter, I mean, it's doable, I think, for an athlete like Anna. But there's definitely going to be some fatigue that's going to set in, and we'll see. I don't know. It could rev her up to like have the race of her life. We don't know. It is early in the season too. That's the one thing. I mean, I don't know. Has she done any other races this year?
I don't think so. No, I was literally just perusing her Strava before we got on.
So honestly, it might be good that she's ripping the Band-Aid off Zagama before this. It could honestly benefit her. Yeah. I mean, if she recovers properly, it is a lot of traveling though. So we'll see. That's a big thing.
I think a few things is like, I mean, this stuff bothers me, but I'm not sure if it bothers somebody like her. But like, because I'm old, right? Like, you get to the point where like travel, you get tired from travel, and then it's like, oh, you could possibly get sick, right? If you're on a plane and you're in a plane with other people, and and everybody's carrying something. And then on top of that, it's like, oh, how do I adjust my diet, and then adjusting to the time change? So it's like all of those things. I don't know. Listen, if you're in your 20s, like I feel like it's not that hard to deal with that stuff.
Right.
But if
she's young,
yeah.
So
I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, that's a good point though. Zagama for sure. Yeah. I didn't think of that.
Yeah, I don't think any other Americans at Zagama this week.
Nope.
Anyone that's doubling with Sunapee and Zagama.
Was she the lone American?
Possibly.
I think she might be.
That's why I didn't even reach out to do a race preview, because I'm like, no one's going to be there. It's just going to be all Euros. So it's interesting. And Christian was supposed to open up his season in Italy. He had a stress response in his leg. Supposed to open up a series like last week in Italy and didn't go. So, and I talked to him a little bit, and the feedback I got from him was just like, we got to wait and see. So, yeah.
James, remember when we chatted race preview maybe a month or two ago? We were talking about how spring was, a lot warmer in the States than it was previous years, and people were maybe flying a little too close to the sun. And I think we're kind of seeing that right now. And like Tom mentioned, like it's a long season, and some of these guys and gals might make it, but we'll see if they can, hold up.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough.
I think the strategy is going to be, if you make the team, like you're going to have to, like, I would take some, like I'm taking July just on build and just like focus on that. And, if you're going to go to Broken Arrow, then go to Broken Arrow. But like after that, I would shut shit down for, at least a month and rebuild. But I don't know.
Yeah. The hope is that if people do get their spot, that they are prioritizing that maybe a little bit more. I mean, that's the hope.
Yeah. Yeah. It is interesting. We do have a lot of injuries, more on the men's side this year, which is, it's crazy. Like I was surprised with David Sinclair. Like I was not expecting that.
I don't know. Someone was bringing up, I forgot what podcast I was listening. Oh, Boulder Boys, the new one that was just out today. They were talking that there's a lot of injuries they've noticed as well. And they're like, is it carbon plates? Is it shoe technology that's letting us push limits a little bit more? And maybe our body's not, I don't know. It's interesting.
We just had this conversation about Achilles and calf injuries. Like I'm seeing them 10 times more than I've ever seen. And I literally think it's just the foam. The foam is it's not a zero stack height, but I think that when it compresses in just a normal walk, you're going negative. And I don't think that they're accounting for that. And it's, you're going from, I've gone back to older shoes just because I don't like that feeling. It's just an Achilles calf burn all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if that new foam is just too soft.
I think you're onto something there. And I'll say, like, I'll preface this, like, I rarely get injured, dude. And, like, I've been wearing super shoes a hell of a lot more lately. I don't know. I'm not saying that's it, but I am saying, like, maybe there's a small correlation there. Like, you never know. Like,
I don't think it's the carbon. I think it's the foam.
Well, Nick, I showed you those Sauconys I had. I forget what they were. Dude. Insane.
They're so soft.
Like, literally the softest shoes in the market right now. So, who knows?
Yeah.
One thing I did want to double back to was I want to talk about weather. I've never been to New Hampshire at this time of year. Tom, what's the weather looking like these days? Is it going to be like
normally it would be nice and sunny and hot. Yeah. We've had a cold snap here for since last year. it hasn't stopped being cold and raining. It's like Seattle here. So I would guess it's going to be like high 60s, and it won't be anything crazy, but it's not. It might be perfect running weather, to be honest.
Yeah.
But what does that do for like mud on the course? Is it going to be like muddy at all, like nasty?
Yeah. So that first year we had the selection race. I'm sure you've seen the videos. We were outside in pouring torrential downpour for 2 days. So it can't get any worse than that. And it was an April race back in the day. So we had front end loaders on top of the mountain removing snow. So this, then we moved to June. It's supposed to be fine. We'll see how that works out. The technical section will be fine. It's just all granite straight up. But the glades will be real sloppy.
Nice. Carnage. I like to see it. What are you guys thinking for, speaking of carnage, like, what do you guys think? Like, you think the person leading like men and women, see, women, I feel like tend to race a bit smarter, but like men wise, like it'll it'll go out so fast. Like, is the person, just like we see in Broken Arrow, right? Is the dude leading the race the first lap the same dude leading winning the race?
No.
I'm going to say a hard no on that. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. It's going to be carnage.
Just because they don't know how technical that section is. I think they're going to get eaten up.
Yeah. I'm so curious, like, to see like what goes on with that. Yeah. With when people get to see that second loop, and that, like, if they go to turn it on, or if someone's being more conservative and then turns it on that. So we're going to find out, boys. Guys, I got something funny to talk about. So in news, I put this down in giant capital letters on my thing, rivalry watch. So we got our boy Dan Kurtz, our New Hampshire main guy, and we got Mason Copey. And I feel like Mason has achieved this like new level, unlocked this new level of fitness with his with some crazy training he's been doing. And Mason and Dan kind of went head to head last week in a it was the La Sportiva Challenge on Mount Sanitas in Boulder. Nick, maybe give some commentary on Sanitas, because I've never actually been on it.
Yeah, sure. It's about a mile climb with about 1,200 feet in about a mile, and then you come off the East Ridge, and it's very, very, very technical for about maybe 2-3 minutes of like boulder hopping, and then you finish it off with about a mile down about 600 feet, and you're going to be dropping probably your mile PR more than likely coming down off of it. So it kind of like it really is kind of everything. Sanitas really does give you kind of everything. So you got to be a stout climber, and you have to have a hell of a downhill.
It's interesting. I've seen a lot of folks like in prep for, like, Valerie Davis Love went on this, and she she ran a 450. I think it was like a 450 mile going down Sanitas. I was really impressed. I was like, so
that's
like,
falling. That's not even running.
Yeah, some of the women are like crushing this. So, I mean, like Dan just like went outright disgusting on this and showed every bit of like the athlete that he is, and ran a sub 4 minute mile on one of the descents. But one of the things that was interesting is Mason and Dan went forward on the same day. Mason got it. Mason ran 24 minutes, 51 seconds. Dan ran 25:13. It's just interesting to me, because we'll talk about the evolution of Mason and where he fits into this race. But it seemed like it really aggravated Dan. I talked to Dan after the fact, and I think Dan wasn't necessarily aggravated by anything other than his effort, his climb. It was just in his head. It was frustrated. In quotes, I have Dan's quote right here. "Hats off to Mason. So frustrated with myself for not pushing harder yesterday. Probably will regret this write up, but I'm heated. Living out of the van just isn't worth it when you don't put it together on the day. Didn't have a good feeling today, but figured I'd go up the climb and see if I had legs. I didn't, and I bailed after popping, probably mostly mentally 10 minutes in, walked around seething up the top a couple minutes when two ladies saw me." Whatever. We can end it there. Yeah. And then after that, he proceeded to go run a sub 4 minute mile. Dan is so disgustingly fitted to fit, and like such a good athlete. It's not even funny. What I'm trying to get at is that, I think the fire's been lit for Dan, man. Like, and we have a little bit of a rivalry going into this race between Mason and Dan. I talked to Mason ahead of time. Mason's very confident. So it's going to be very interesting to see this matchup at the front of the race between these two and see where that goes.
A little bit to add there. I mean, Mason, he lives not too far from me, lives at altitude, where, Dan doesn't. And so I think coming to Sunapee, I think that this is an equal playing field now. They're both going to be at like sea level, Yeah. So I'm really interested to see there, because I think that was maybe why Dan didn't beat Mason. I don't know if it's fitness. I want to say it was altitude, but
I think you're right.
He's not used to that burn in your lungs when you run up a mile in 1,200 feet. Like you're just not used to that, and I don't think he was used to it. So that would be my excuse for him. But
I think you're totally right. I think, and Dan had even said this to me. He's like, because first of all, we got to give him like his flowers. Like, the dude's only been in Boulder for so long, hasn't been there very long at all. And then like he said to me, he's like, you don't really know how to gauge that effort when you're so used to being able to gauge a certain effort going up when you're like, for instance, at sea level or at a couple thousand feet. So yeah, I think that's the big conversation is like, is Mason a better climber going into this race than Dan is right now? Or is it altitude and Dan is a better climber? So, because we know Dan is technically, I would argue, one of the best downhillers in the world, like given after seeing some of his stuff. So I don't know, man.
I guess the climbing needs to be defined. Climbing on just a straight road, dirt road, or are we going vertical on some serious nasty stuff.
Well, that's a big question too. So I went into it with Mason and I asked him because yes, he's incredibly fit, as a lot of guys are going into this race, but how much specificity are you layering into this? He's been doing some stuff up and down Green Mountain. Nick, you can speak to Green better than I can. Obviously, there's a level of technicality to Green that's a little bit different than other places. Would you say that's East Coast, close to East Coast?
I would say it's fairly close to the trails that he was on. There's a lot of different ways up and down. He was definitely, I think Kyle Richardson pointed him in the direction of some of the more technical variations of the route. So yeah, I would say it's pretty similar. It's rocky. It's very rooty. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Very East Coast. Yeah.
I think that was my big question with Mason is we all know what Dan can do on something like this. I think the big question with Mason was, can he, cause like Tom, you sent me some of those photos, dude, like the roots, and I wouldn't want to run fast down that. That doesn't look very fun. Even going up, it seems like a pain in the ass. So I just am curious to see if that's going to be a hang up. But fitness is fitness. So yep. I don't know,
So you got those two. Who else where else are we going?
Oh man. So I mean, so I'm not picking yet, but out of in the men's of guys that I have my eyes on, that I've spoken to personally. Oh dude, Remy LaRue is disgustingly good right now. And finally came off that block at Alta. And has had really solid training since. His Achilles is in good shape. Tyler McCandless, Andy Wacker, David Norris. I think David Norris is incredibly slept on. Talked to him the other day, I think it was yesterday. And yeah, I mean, he's just got a really solid approach to the sport, very level-headed, very calm. Cam Smith, as always, is going to be a contender. We got Taylor Stack and Talon Hull. Talk to Talon, Morgan Elliott, Hawk Call, and then you have Liam Moreau as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, you thought you were going to leave Hollywood out. I'm I don't know. He had his breakthrough race at Sunapee.
I agree. No, I think Liam's as legit as it comes. And, he's a Bowerman guy. He's so fit, so fast, so complete. And you can't forget Jackson Brill as well. So there's at least 10 to 15, and I'm probably forgetting a bunch, 10 to 15 gentlemen in this, in the men's race that can
Casey Campbell.
Race. Casey Campbell's another one. Yeah.
Casey Campbell, I think Sunapee 2 years ago was also his breakout race. And I believe they may disagree. I think he came with Max. They came on the same flight together. And I believe Casey let Max win, beat him at the finish line. I think it was, there you go, sir.
That's really funny. And that's actually interesting because Casey was someone I didn't profile and go into as deep on this one. So I'm going to be kicking myself if he has an absolutely amazing day and we didn't get him in there.
Right.
Max, I think, can you confirm? I know Max tore his meniscus at Bark.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to race this.
Okay.
Yeah, he's already had surgery, but he's not ready to run.
Yeah, I don't blame him. All right, I got some specific questions for you guys. What do you think from a course perspective? Do you think this course, I've heard it described as so fast, I've heard it described as technical. You're the RD, so you know. Does this course favor a certain type of athlete in this sport, in this field?
No, I think you have to be a Swiss Army knife of a runner to do this one. I think, yeah. You have to be super fast, but you also have to be really good at ups and downs. I think that if you you can be a great climber, but if you can't handle that glade section, it's over.
Yeah, I think there's no hiding in this one. It's the most complete men and women are going to be made. Listen, I don't care what team we send, but the people coming out of this are going to be the best people in the Mountain Classic. I think we will contend for medals this year with the folks that are in this race. It's going to be crazy to follow along, but yeah, I like I said, this isn't a longer race. This is a short race, relatively speaking. It's at sea level. There's no hiding. You're either really good and you're completed everything and you're making the team, or you're going to get exposed and it's just not going to happen. So
yeah,
you're gonna have to.
I think if you are, if you go out hot and then you have to tiptoe to the down and then you go, hot up again and you hit that technical section, I think because in that technical section, there is a downhill section. You do a saddle. you hit the top, and you have to go down to get back to the summit. So there's a super technical downhill where you're not going to be happy. It's hairy.
All right. What do you guys think base fitness? Are we talking? I mean, I've talked to everybody, like Andy's like Mason. Most of these guys at the front end of the race, men wise, are sub 14-minute 5K guys, sub 30-minute 10K guys, and gals, it's, in that range outside sub 16, 17 in that range. What do you guys think as far as the base fitness it's going to take to win this race?
I'm going to say, 28-minute 10K, a little over 13-minute 5K.
Wow.
I mean, it's top tier. I mean, Andy's been doing a bunch of road running as of late, and he's setting PRs at 7, 8 years old. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, and I can imagine that a lot of these younger guys could probably keep up with him on the roads or around there. So yeah, I would say like he did recently, I think he did a 15K in like 43 something, which is just running a 28-minute 10K in there is absolutely insane. And then he also ran some race called the something 5,000. It was like roughly a 5K, and he did that in like just over 13 minutes. So yeah, That's probably what we're looking at.
Dude, that is so fast. Oh my God. Yeah, I don't know. That's insane. It's going to be interesting to see how that transfers as well. Like I keep coming up with the same conversation. Like we've got Tyler McCann. We got a lot of really fit and complete road guys. But how will that, because this is early, we're still early in the season here. And like, remember, Andy's only ripped the Band-Aid off of Big Alta, which is it's mostly road. Like it's dirt road, right? What is that going to look like in some of the technical sections? How will he have done some of the specifics enough stuff? Same with Tyler. Like how is all this fitness?
Yeah, but Tyler came to Loon and I think he placed second.
Yeah. Oh, dude, Tyler's amazing. But it's also uphill.
Yeah. Right.
Uphill's uphill. So I think my curiosity is on some of the technical descending. Like how are these boys going to fare? Yeah.
I think that's the separation point. I really do. I think that downhill is what's going to separate some people for sure. Cause like we have, like you said, we have some uphill monsters in this race, like real deal. Like, I mean, Tyler McCandless, like he back-to-back years going sub hour at Rendezvous, like insane.
Yeah. Yeah. Tyler is, yeah, dude. I think he just won a half marathon or came he's so good. Yeah, he's so disgustingly good. And Andy's been on a tear. You've got Mason super fit, and then Dan seems to have never lost a step at all. Dan's, kind of the king of this. So yeah, the mix is a lot of fitness. I don't know where Cam is at. Like I said, I still need to speak to him on where he's at kind of coming off the skis. And kind of transitioning. Dude, Remy LaRue is another one. And David Norris, like Taylor Stack. I haven't talked as much to Morgan Elliott, so I'm not really sure. I don't even know if he's going to be there. I would guess he's going to be there. Tom, can you confirm?
Morgan?
Morgan, is he?
Yeah, he'll be there. I'm not sure how he's feeling right now, but yeah, he'll be there.
It's a bummer. Okay, so big question is, do we see a career-defining moment here? Like in someone's career, whether it be men or women, like someone new wins this race, someone we don't expect.
Yeah. I think there will be win or make the team. I think there's a big difference.
Let's say, I don't know. I feel like it's so easy for me to pick a winner. I mean, kind of not. Like I have an idea. I have a really strong idea of who's going to at least get in the top 3. Let's put it that way. Okay. But as far as like for instance, and when I say like career defining moment, like let's say Mason wins the damn thing. I'm not saying he's going to, but if Mason goes on and wins it, I think that's a career defining moment, right? If I
believe I have 97 texts from you saying Mason's going to win this.
I'm no, actually he's not my pick to win, but I am very confident he makes the team 100%.
You quoted Dan Kurtz earlier, so I'm going to quote you.
Okay, here we go. Oh, did I give you my top 4 like 5 different times? That I've changed. I've changed it multiple times.
Mason is him.
Yes, that's right. That's it. You know what? It's so, I'm such a fan of these people because like, you get to know them and you have them on the pod and you chat with them and your peers and like you have the conversation. It's like, man, like Mason's confidence like really came through on me. And I was like, damn. Some of these guys are just like really confident going in. So whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know. Like you got You got me convinced, but yeah, I think someone's going to have a career defining moment. Maybe Dan goes and just slaughters everybody. Right. And
see, I think it's going to be in the women. I think it's going to be the women. We're going to see somebody that we never, there's a couple in there that I have I don't know them. I apologize. But I mean, who is Brinkley?
Who is it? Oh, Gabrielle Brinkley.
Gabrielle Brinkley, right?
From Boulder. Yes.
Right.
Reached out to her. Yeah. Reached out to have her on the pod. Not an easy person to get in touch with. Didn't got anything back. I am aware of her. Third at the Pikes Peak Marathon last year. So podium. She's very legit. She's very young. So yes, 100% a contender for the top 5.
Like, I mean, I would, does that transfer over? Like, I don't know anything. I know nothing about this.
Have you heard of her in the Boulder circles?
I haven't at all. That's
No.
honestly the first time. I think I saw her name, but didn't register. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like, I don't remember this, but that Renna Swartz, she's run one race.
Yeah.
And she was 19. It was the Loon Mountain race and she won.
Yes. Was that what year was that though? Was it
19?
Okay, it was
so,
2019. Yeah.
So I mean, there were still studs in there. I looked at the other people. I mean, yeah, there were still some really good athletes in there. So there's just some people in there that I don't know that I think are going to surprise the women's. They're going to change, I think, the team that we have.
Okay, I like to hear it. No, I think sorry.
Are there any East Coasters that James and I may not know? Any like local crushers?
I was gonna say Laurel Moyer is a potential contender.
Okay.
There's one more.
Haley lives on the mountain.
That's right.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah. So if there's going to be somebody that's local that does really well, I mean, technically, Lauren Gregory is from 2 towns over now.
Sure. Although she claimed Colorado in our podcast, I was kind of surprised she claimed like Fort Collins. I was like, oh,
interesting.
Yeah. Corey Dow. I mean, she was on Team USA before. She lives in North Conway.
Okay.
So
there's people go hard, man. The East Coast is no joke, obviously.
And and if you look at the list, I mean, Rachel is way down there for some reason.
Yeah.
So,
right.
I mean, it's, you have Hannah Rowe, also super fast. There's a girl that hates downhill, but loves the uphill. I mean, she beat Casey Emmon by 2 minutes at Pac Monadnock.
Oh.
World champion Casey Emmon. Like, I mean, that's tough to do. Yeah. So if she can get her downhill shoes going, like I said, I just think this women's field is going to be shaken up a little bit.
No, I think you're right. I don't know. I think for me, it's tough to say, man. Like, you got to remember too, like Lauren is like world beater last year, like goes and gets second at Golden Trail final. Had some amazing races, like her ending block between headlands and going into the final was bananas. But she's been fighting off some Achilles stuff. She seems pretty consistent in what she's doing now. She seems okay. She can run. But she's been kind of working through some injuries. So yeah, there's possibilities for bad days for some people. There's no doubt in my mind. I do have to say, one, I gotta shout her out. Like, obviously Allie's like hometown, Colorado Springs. I did witness an Allie workout the other day and I was astonished. Okay. Allie Mack is so fit, dude.
Yeah. Always.
I shouldn't say refuse because she's a friend of mine. Didn't want to do any pre-race interviews or anything like that. She doesn't like media before. She promised me we would talk after, but I literally watched like her demolish a Stairmaster the other day for 35 minutes and I was astonished. So yeah, I don't know. Allie's pretty fit, man. It's we're gonna see what happens though.
I like it.
Yeah.
And I mean, and so Allie O has been working with David.
Yes.
So that's going to be interesting to see how that all shakes out.
She though, Nick, didn't you say she just like came back or like was recently just did a first workout in a long time? Like she had kind of had a layoff in a little bit.
Yeah. I think it was her first workout in like 2 months, I want to say, or something like that. It's been a roller coaster for her for sure. But she's been cross training a ton. I mean,
Yeah.
we've seen people. Remember Mika? He was cross training on the hand bike and just came out of nowhere. I mean, it's possible. It's gonna hurt her a little bit, but she's one that could very well come out and
I also
crush.
feel like with her, and just like anybody, like you wouldn't sign up for the race last second if you didn't feel like you could compete, right? Like, I mean, that's kind of like my take on it.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like she's the type of person that just like, I don't know, and maybe having David in her corner, like just like shoot for the moon, kind of just, swing. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. And she has her YouTube channel, and like, I don't know, maybe that like influences her to be like, oh, I gotta like show them I can still, I don't know.
Still do this.
Yeah.
It's a thought. I don't know.
Yeah.
So we got Alio. A lot of like the usual suspects, right? Like Rachel to my check, who's been on, she's so consistent, been on every team. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of made I made a top 10. I don't know if you guys, how far you guys went down the list.
Just 5.
Yeah, I think 5 is a safer bet. Obviously, it's super hard to make a top 10, but I'm kind of curious. Tom, I don't know if you want to recuse yourself or if you want to.
I'm absolutely gonna recuse myself out of this one.
All right. And you can. I appreciate you. Like maybe like ask questions and like pull these ones apart. Nick, I want your top 5. Let's hear what you got for the top 5 women.
Top 5 women.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll preface this with I really think it's people that have like sort of been here before, common names in the sport. I personally don't think we're gonna see somebody new up there, but that's just me. First I have Anna. I don't think anyone can beat Anna. I think Lauren can give her a run for her money, but Anna has just this way of being able to turn herself inside out. She's a hell of a climber, and she's just a mountain athlete. So yeah, I got Anna in first. Second, Lauren Gregory. I mean, home turf for her. The injuries, coming off of an injury, we'll see. Like you said, she had a killer final part of the season last year, so I expect her to kind of keep that rolling. Then Allie she's been here so much. This is nothing new to her. She's not going to be nervous. This is just another race for her. She's worn a USA kit too many times, and I think that it's going to happen again.
Former world champion.
Yep. And then for fourth, another one, Rachel to my check. I mean, been there before. This is nothing new. This is what she does. I mean, it's in her blood, it seems like. And then fifth, I'll go a little bit of some local love here. Flannery Davis.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. She hasn't been here before. She hasn't done something like this. I guess last year with Zerk Series, that was kind of the first time, and I believe she took, what was it, 7?
She's been
seven.
In top.
She was in like the top 8,
both,
7, 8, something like that. I think that this is something that she's like really focused on, it seems like. So yeah, and I mean, she has that marathon pedigree. She's been killing it the last like year and a half. So yeah, really excited for her, and I think she could be an alternate potentially if someone doesn't make it. So
I like it. I mean, there's a lot of. I think you're right. So here's my question about Anna Gibson, and the only thing is, and I have to ask her this. So I'm curious because I've been peeling through her Strava. She does not do a ton of volume. So it's either she's not posting all the volume, or she's actually not doing all the volume.
A lot of biking.
Not that much. She's like 120-mile bike ride like 2 weeks ago or last week or something like that. And this is not disparagement anyway. Like I'm her biggest fan. Like, dude, I can't wait. Like, she's a good friend of Mick Lino, so I'm super excited to have her on the pod. But that said, I'm just so curious how you could be that fit and that good with just that level of volume, which just hasn't been too crazy. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. And I think the big question with me is going to be the turnaround, like from Zagama. Like either that helps or that hurts. I am very much in your camp where like I think we're going to see a lot of new names in the top 10 where a lot of strong competitors, maybe the top 5. But I think like the old guard, like your Allie, your Rachel, your Lauren, and like I said, like maybe middle guard for Anna, like the level is just so much higher, I feel like, for them and they just have that experience that maybe that plays a role into a race like this. Like think about it, like Rachel, 100%. Allie, Rachel, and Lauren have made how many teams combined? Like
all of them.
Yeah, everyone that ever was, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So I just don't see. It's hard for me to imagine a world where like Rachel is with her consistency just doesn't get there, or Allie just doesn't make it happen, right?
I mean, I have a feeling we're going to see some of these new ladies just go out ridiculously hard and just like turn themselves inside out on the first loop and then just have nothing left and just fall back. And then you got the people that have been here before, the alleys that just like, whoop, boom.
And
Like
Allie really like literally has been there before. She got second to Grayson in 2023 at Sunapee. You know, and like that's tough. That's a tough person to follow is Grayson. So yeah, I mean like has had great showings at Chiang Mai. Like Allie is always so consistent. So yeah, I you know, and Lauren, based off of her season last year, it's like it's easy for me to like pick a top 4 or top 3, I should say, of like women that I think get the golden ticket or get their spot onto Worlds. But it's hard to say like, all right, this person's going to be the one to take the job, right? Because everybody's so aggressive too. Like Allie races so aggressive. She takes it out so hard. So it's like, I don't know. And Rachel seems a bit calmer. Lauren seems in the middle. And I've never seen Anna race, so I really don't know, to be honest with you.
I think she's like the ultimate competitor out of all these women. I really think Anna is.
Yeah. I think you're right. All right, I'm gonna give you guys a top 10. I'm so curious. I gotta see what Tom's face when I do this. I'll start with 10 and kind of go down to my first place pick. 10th, I'm gonna go Laurel Moyer. Very consistent athlete, East Coaster. I think she probably, I don't know, she's hit or miss. Like sometimes really, really solid. Like has had some great finishes. Like I think she won Cirque Brighton the year that I raced it last year. For the women. So like has consistency and can show up like in big races, but also is like inconsistent at times. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. 9th place, I'm going to go Gabrielle Brinkley, like a big unknown. Like I said, 3rd place at Pikes Peak Marathon last year. Doesn't have a lot to her name, like kind of quieter. I'm going to go 8th with Emily Clark, Trail Team Elite selection, another new name into the sport. Emily Clark is very legit, collegiate runner. She's coached by MK Sullivan and Tommy Sullivan, which is pretty crazy. And I can give some more commentary on her as we go. Sydney Peterson, I'm going to go 7th. Sydney Peterson's a Brooks athlete, Taylor Stack's partner, very legit, coming off a very solid roadblock. Hasn't raced yet, lives in the Gunnison Valley. She's a product of Western. Very legit, very, very legit. Not a lot of East Coasters in here. In 4th, I'm going to go Anna Gibson. And the only reason I'm going to go 4th as Anna is the first woman out is because of Zagama. So we'll see. Prove me wrong. I don't know, but that's kind of my guess on that. The 3 women getting the spots going to Worlds, I'm gonna keep it with the old guard. Lauren, Rachel, and Allie. And I think Allie takes the win. Allie, like I said, I just got to it's home cooking. I got to personally witness an Allie workout recently, and I was just astonished. So Allie seems to be in that Allie form from maybe 2022, 2023. I know she had worked through some injuries or an injury. Actually kind of funny, similar like hip stuff to the stuff like I was working with. Just recently talked to her about this. And like, I just think, her aggressiveness, that as long as she doesn't fade, with that aggression, I think she might be able to actually even open a gap and like maybe like actually have a statement win is my hot take there. A couple people I glossed over when I was going up. I think are 2 standouts of people that make a name for themselves in the women's field. One, like I said before, Sophie Wright, Alaskan runner, mile record holder at her college, just like primed to do something. Like usually always consistently a top woman at Mount Marathon. That race is so competitive and she's so young, has won Cirque Alaska, knows how to assert herself in these steep, hard mountain races. Alaskan mountain racing is different. It's I'm not saying it's East Coast, but that level of technicality is not something we have in the Mountain West. So if you can hang on that and compete against other women on that, I think that's primed. I had a conversation with her, and this is a main goal. Like her goal is to go for the podium and try to win this race. I don't know. Sometimes want can help you. It's what's between the ears that helps a lot. So that's going to be very interesting. And I also have Flannery Davis Love up there in 6th place. I think Flannery is very legit. Talk to her as well. And training is going very well. I worry with some of these athletes, and the same thing I'm going to argue with the men, that some people might be looking past Sunapee with the idea of the Broken Arrow 46K in mind. And I think that's a really bad way to approach things. I think you have to be like super focused. So yeah, that's kind of my take on the top 10. So also, Tom, really quick, is there a chance Grayson races?
I say it's 50-50.
You say it's 50. That's higher than I thought it would be. Okay. All right.
Wow.
All right. Well, I know her new husband, Logan Dykeman, signed up, right?
Right.
So maybe he wants to. Maybe he wants to come. Maybe he'll say, "Let's go. Let's do this."
Right.
Yeah, maybe she's planning on going and just making a really last minute decision. Sounds
I mean, if you fly all the way here and you get there to, I mean, we have early bid pickup on Saturday. I don't know how you would say no.
Yeah.
Like how you got to feel the excitement of everybody flying in, and we're all out in that parking lot, and I don't know.
See, I think with her though, I feel pressure, right? Like I'm the world champion. Like obviously, I have this new diagnosis. Like, what if I don't have the rate? Like she dominates everything. Like she's so good at everything and so complete. And I think maybe the worry would be like, what if I don't? I think but you're going to have to rip the Band-Aid off at some point in time before Worlds, right? Like,
right. And you have a safety net. Like, why not give it everything you have? Because no matter what happens, if she has a bad race, she still goes. Like, so why not, don't let that thing don't let that diagnosis define you.
Yeah.
Like you got it, move on, time to hammer down.
Yeah. No, I agree. So I've got going is Allie, Rachel, Lauren, Anna, first person out, and Grayson is the champion. So that's what I got for the women. Anything to add? Anybody got anything on that? No?
I think it's a good list.
Tom's looking at me like, I don't know. Yeah, I felt kind of bad disparaging the East Coasters. I don't know. I feel like, we got Lauren Gregory in there, so that counts. All right, let's talk men. Nick, you want to take it away on men?
Sure, yeah. I'll start at 5 this time.
Right.
For 5th, I have Remy LaRue. Man, he's been putting in some pretty crazy workouts I've been seeing on his YouTube. He was 5th in 2023. Yeah, I think he's going to come back and take 5th again. 4th, I have the Zerk Series legend, in my opinion, one of the most like dominant up and down format runners in the US. That's David Norris. I think he very well could take top 3. I have him in the 4 spot because it's really hard for me to justify these next 3, him being ahead of them. But yeah. 3rd, I have Andy. I wanted to pick Andy to win because I actually think that he is like the fittest he's ever been, which is insane to think. I mean, he's done some pretty crazy things. But yeah, what we've been seeing in training, it's just, for me, it's the technical, it's that downhill. I don't know how he's going to be on that. But sometimes fitness prevails and you're able to make up for it. So we'll see. And then for 2nd, I have Mason. I think it's going to be the Dan and Mason show. I think I'm excited for that. I think Dan has, he's feeling it. He wants this. I mean, he's a 2023 winner, and so I have him taking 1st again. He's been here before. I mean, Mason's been here before too. I think Mason is making the leap because I believe he was like 10th in 2023 or something like that.
That's right.
But I think in the last 2 years he's really made like a massive leap. And I think he's self-coached, right?
I don't think he's working with David
anymore.
No,
he's not working with David. I didn't think so. Yeah. But yeah, the training, I mean, James and I have seen him be putting in it's crazy volume between the bike and running. And I think if anything, the preview that we saw at Sanitas, a couple weekends ago, if that's anything to come, it's going to be special. So I think those 2 are going to absolutely go at it. I can see Mason maybe being in 1st on the 1st loop, and then maybe Dan reeling him a little bit on the 2nd loop.
Yeah, I can see that.
So,
I think that's a solid top 5. Mine is very, very similar.
Mm-hmm.
I think almost like my picks kind of like roll down into like the top 6 just because like I think so. One thing I will say is like, so my 5th place, who would be technically the last person selected for Worlds, is, to me, it's a tie between Andy and David. I can't figure it out, like which one I want to pick. Like it's very hard. And the reason is because like, so I'll just tell you what I have. So For fifth place, like I said, it's somewhere between Andy and David. We'll get to more on that after. In fourth place, I have to go Tyler. And it's just because Tyler's always on the podium. Like Tyler might not win everything, but Tyler doesn't lose anything. Like he's always so consistent. He's also really smart. Like one of the things I really like about Tyler is his like race IQ is very high. So like he told me, he's like, the way I approach this race is different. He's like, I'm not necessarily going to be racing to win. I'm going to be racing to get myself a spot on Worlds. This is kind of like a prelim to get myself on Worlds and then show up to Worlds and rock the world. So I think his mindset is a little bit different to where like Tyler might be like playing it a little bit more strategic. That could hurt him or it could help him. So it's going to be very interesting. But Tyler, like I said, so consistent. He's always right there. You know, he's always been kind of the heel to Joe in a lot of like races, right? Like he's always right there. So yeah, it's hard for me to like not count him in. In third place, I'm going to go Remy LaRue. I think Remy represents for the Canadians, gets on the podium. I think he's that good. I mean, look at what he did at because look at Big Alta, right? He got third at Big Alta. That was a really tough race. A lot of figuring stuff out, and he did it off kind of like a weird block, right? It's also not like his primary like racing strategy. And what I look at is how close he raced Dan, and he beat Dan. They actually went back and forth with Alex Ricard, and they beat up on David Sinclair pretty bad at the Canadian World
the World Champions.
Yes, last year. It was like September, October. And like that race I thought was very telling. Like it could have just been like late season, but like Dan and him had some like really good battles, and Alex Ricard as well. And it just kind of showed like Remy is like him as well. Like he's at a pretty high level. And then now that he's had like consistency and more longer time to train and like put a solid block in, there's no doubt like he couldn't be on the podium. I think with him, it's going to come down to like mental. Like he's already going to Worlds to go represent Canada. So it's like, would I take as many risks as maybe some of the Americans will? I think that's a big question. I think if we're just looking at this from a fitness perspective, I think Remy's on the podium for sure. And just like, look, dude, he raced Eli relatively close, and Eli is the best 50K runner on the planet right now. So I'd put that as the American standard. Obviously, it's a significantly different type of race, but fitness is fitness. In second place, I am going to go Mason. And this was a hard one. This was a really difficult decision because I really wanted to put Mason in first. I just wonder like what that did with Dan to just light a fire under Dan. Like Dan, one thing I really appreciate about Dan is he's very open. He's very honest. He talks about his feelings. He talks about what he's thinking, talks about his training. And I think that Sanitas thing like probably aggravated the hell out of him. So he's probably out for blood, wants to win. Mason's really complete. That is not the same Mason that even like I raced last year at Cirque Series Alta. Like that is a different Mason in the best way possible. Like the most complete, probably the fittest, best version of him. So Mason could win. I do just think Dan's a little bit better on the descents. And I think the uphill is not going to be as much of a problem for Dan as it would have been in Sanitas. So I'm going to go Mason 2, Dan 1. And yeah, I think that puts that rivalry where it is. And yeah, like I said, it's going to be the last spot will go somewhere between David Norris and Andy Wacker. I just don't know. I think contenders as well. You can never count out a Cam Smith. You can never count out a Taylor Stack. We'll see what happens with Morgan Elliott. Hawk, I was really long on like going into this race. He didn't have the race he wanted in Italy last week. And I wonder like, maybe he still needs to figure stuff out on the big stage. I mean, he did get second at Snowbird last year at the U.S. Mountain Running Champs. It's behind Christian, who was a very healthy Christian. So I don't know, man. This is a really tough one.
That was a hometown.
You still have Liam out. Still left Liam out.
I did. I have Liam in my top 10. Well, you know what, dude? Like Josh, what's his name? Josh, was it Pachin his name? He beat Liam at the 50K at
Gorge.
Gorge. And that had me wondering a little bit, like, how's everything going? How's that build? Like, maybe that was a fluke. How did that work? Or Potvin, Josh Potvin. I just had him on the podcast. Sorry. It makes me wonder, like, we're like, the thing with Liam is like, he's so good at races like this. Like he's always been consistent. Like he used to go to those Narnar races that one time was the U.S. Mountain Running Champ. He's had good races there. He's also been to Worlds, represented us for Team USA. I just don't see. I don't know, man. This is a really tough one. It's hard for to see. You got to remember, Liam doesn't display his Strava publicly, so it's always hard for me to kind of gauge that as well. I don't know. What do you think, Tom?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with the Dan Kurtz. I mean, I think he's home now, or he's going to be home. I bet you he's on that course this weekend.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Right.
Yeah, I know he like. I don't know. There's something to be said about, and you know what the thing is about Dan too? Like, there's no doubt in my mind he makes the team. I do think he wins this, but like, just because like, there's no doubt in my mind, like he didn't really have a great race last time around. I think he drop last time around. He got sick or something like that at the last Worlds. So like, he hasn't been able to put his full ability on display yet on the world stage. So like, him to get over this hump and then go back there, I think would be like a huge character arc for him in his story.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Mason,
I was just looking to see where Liam was 4th at Sunapee last time.
Yep.
Kurtz, Ricard, Elliott, Liam.
Damn,
and he beat Remy.
Yes. I don't think it's the same Remy either, though. I think Remy's evolved a lot. I think Remy's gotten significantly better. And you kind of see it like this year, like with Big Alta, I think he's starting to figure it out. Like that was a very competitive race up front. Like you're talking Ryan Becker. Granted, it like wasn't the best version of Ryan Becker, but like still like Eddie Owens. I mean, David Roche too. And David Roche is like, yeah, he blew himself up, but like David Roche is a beast. Yeah, there were some dudes. So I don't know. I'm curious to see. I think my big question is like, where does David Norris fit in to this? Because David could very well go win. I mean, we've all seen him at Mount Marathon, and like he's beaten like the best versions of like Darren Thomas. He's beaten the best versions of Max King. He also has a KJ record. Or maybe he took the Max King, but it was originally a KJ record. Originally beat the KJ record on Mount Marathon. And it's just so steep and so technical. It is Alaskan mountain running at its finest. And David is really hard to beat. Like, you got to remember too, dude, he raced Patrick really close last year at Cirque Brighton and beat Philemon.
That's impressive.
Oh, he's legit. And I think he's like one of the most slept on dudes in this field. So... yeah.
Well, he hasn't put himself out there. I think this is kind of the first time that he's like truly put himself out there.
And like, I asked him, like, are you just like having fun now in your career? He's like, cause I think he's like mid to late 30s. He's like, yeah, dude, he's like, I wasted so much of my life, not wasted, but he's like, I worked for so much of my life to try and make the Olympics. I think his wife is an Olympian, if I remember correctly, in skiing, Nordic skiing. And like, you're just talking like someone that just like hasn't figured it out. Like he's always on the bike. He's always running. He's always doing his stuff. It just depends on like what version you get. Like if you get like the most tip top version of him, like he's not only going, he has the ability to win this race. We'll see if it's the same guy that won and set the record at Mount Marathon last year. So, yeah, I'm interested to see where Talon Hole goes too. He looks, I think I raced him last year at Grand Targhee, and he's pretty legit.
He's always up there.
Brooks runner, very solid. I think he's had great showings at Broken Arrow. Yeah, pretty solid. And yeah,
I feel like the whole Brooks team is going to be here.
They are. They're supposed to like they have a house, and like they're all going to be kind of doing the house thing, which is cool. I like to see that. Like that's kind of one of my favorite things is like that Brooks investment into Sub Ultra has really, right, kind of moved elevated our little sport. So. Yeah, that's all I got for the men's picks. Is there anybody you think we left out? We did leave out Liam. I do feel bad about that.
I go back and I don't know. I keep going back and look at Liam's results, and I'm like, so he came in 4th after he had done the vertical the day before.
Mm-hmm.
Then he went the next weekend and came in 3rd at Breakneck Point. Like super technical courses.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, you're right. You're right. And like he is a Pacific Northwest guy. Those courses translate better than they would like in Colorado, if you will. Like as we're pretty
second at Gorge, 1st at the Fire Lane Trail time trial last week.
Let me ask you this. So we know Mika's out as well. Where does Jackson Brill factor into all this? Because he's made the team before.
Yep.
I think he's a wild card. He doesn't post a whole lot. He doesn't say a whole lot. He just kind of goes out and crushes. He's like Max, right? Like he just does everything, I think.
Yeah. I do want to give a shout out to Scott Killing Killington Smith, 20-year-old kid. He's so young, man. He just made this kind of public. I was trying to talk him out of it though. He's going to race at Sunapee. Very good kid. Like he got, I think, top 10.
Racing what?
Scott.
No, racing what race?
He's racing Sunapee. God damn. No, sorry, I lost my
You
train of
almost
thought.
made the whole one, man. You almost made it.
He's got to get heart surgery, but he wants to race Sunapee instead. I was like, dude, you should probably do the heart surgery. Because he's like, yeah, he's been posting stuff on Instagram. Like, he's like, could someone run with me? I don't like, because he like passes out on the trail. I'm like, dude, you might not want to race that. You might want to just go get your surgery. And yeah.
Oh man.
Young kid though, like all the promise in the world. He's very talented, insanely talented. He's from kind of like that Orem, Utah, where Christian and the other boys are from. So yeah.
Shout out to him. That's wow.
Yeah.
He must want it. Yeah.
Yeah, he really wants it. And then Hawk. We already talked about Hawk.
Yep.
I'm trying to see if I'm just like on.
Joan.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, dude. Yeah, we got to give Joan some love. That's another dark horse that can put it together, possibly.
Yeah. No, I think he has a chance to back up what he did at Zerk. I think this is his opportunity.
Do you know about him, Tom?
No.
So this kid, his name's Joan DeLeon. He's boys with Cade Michael. I'm like the biggest fan of this guy. He's like the kindest human you'll ever meet. Even though he ignored my text message to get him on the podcast. But anyway, he doesn't like look at his phone, apparently. I've heard from many people he doesn't do it. Anyway, long story short, this kid shows up last year to Cirque Basin, which my guess was outside of Snowbird, this was the most competitive one because Patrick and Philemon were there. Everybody was there. It was a very deep one. I think he got second, right? I think he's either second or third. He beat Joe, which is a very difficult thing to do. And I'm pretty sure he was second behind Patrick. Beat Philemon, and just hasn't put it together since. But he's working on it. Like I think he had a good race at the Gorge 30K, which I think you were in that race, Tom, with him. Like you probably saw him at the front. He blew himself up though, and then Anna got the best of it. I think won overall. But had he not blown up, probably would have had a great day out there. He hasn't shown this season yet, like who he truly is, in my opinion. I think he just needs to pop one off, just hit one out of the park. This could be it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, the kid lives at 9,000 feet in Crested Butte. He's being coached by Eli and Tabor. He's got everything he needs, all the tools.
Yeah.
Just executing. Yep.
I can't believe I missed that name when I was looking through here. Is there anybody that doesn't have an ultra sign up or like has a 0% rating that we missed over here?
Yeah, right. There's always one.
I also want to call out Devin Pancake with the best last name in the entire sport. I'd say like his best race was like a 50K. He ran against Peterman pretty close as like a total noob. He's like a 24-year-old kid. He's a trail team elite selection for this year. I don't know. Could never know. Could mix it up.
Has he done anything like this before? Any up and down style, short? No. Okay.
I don't think so. No,
hey,
but
he could find his thing. You never know.
He's talented.
Yeah.
Who's this Zach Aronson kid from?
I didn't see that.
Yeah, this is another one we missed, guys. Zachary Erickson got third last year. He's from Orem, Utah. He got third at Cirque Snowbird, which is U.S. Mountain Running Champs. So that would have been right behind Hawk. So that would have been, he's on the podium. So that would have been Hawk, Christian, and him. Yeah, I have no idea who this kid is. So 24-year-old. So that could be a dark horse right there. Who knows, dude?
Ben Robinson, we didn't mention.
We do want to call out Ben Robinson, former Hoka athlete. He's always so consistent. Yeah, I like Ben.
Another one was Casey Campbell. He was 8th at in 2023.
Yeah.
So he's been here.
From Oregon. Yeah.
Yep.
You were talking about him a little bit, Tom. Like, can you add any more? Like, just another really consistent dude. Like,
right. And he like I said, he came with Max. I didn't know who he was. They just kind of bummed around all weekend, and then they basically just ran together the entire race. I think if you look at the results, I think it was like 1 second. I think Casey just kind of slowed down and let Max go.
I mean, he's legit, dude. He did beat last year at Mammoth Chad Hall and Fred Tranchard and Patty O'Leary and Roberto Di Lorenzi. So ran a top 20.
He was just second at Formidable 50K.
Yeah. So some got some legit results. So yeah, he's another one. I don't know, man. I hate picking these races. It's always so hard because I'm always wrong. Usually Remy LaRue is like my best selection, so he always comes through for me. So he came through for Big Alta. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe this one is a much easier. Like I feel like we're a little more dialed on this one, so maybe it's an easier selection. But yeah,
Cool.
I think that's all I got, boys. You guys have anything to add?
I'm good to go. I'm gonna
So.
keep plugging away and loading U-Hauls.
Oh, sweet. Well, Todd, thank you so much for coming on. Nick, thank you as well. This will be out next week, guys. I appreciate you all.
Excellent.
Awesome. Thanks. Listen up, guys. The Steep Stuff podcast is brought to you by Ultimate Direction USA. Guys, I am so excited. UD just dropped their new Race Vest 6-liter and Ultra Vest 12-liter in 2 beautiful aesthetic colors. You guys got to check these new vests out. They're dynamic in ways like that you just have never seen from an Ultimate Direction vest. Very stretchy, lots of storage, beautiful aesthetic colorways coming to you in a new, like a white and blue and an onyx and green. Just absolutely beautiful vests. I think these ones are just like some of the best products we've ever dropped, and I'm so excited for you guys to try them out. Hop on ultimatedirection.com and use code SteepStuffPod. Again, that's SteepStuffPod for 25% off your new vest. I mean, they're already affordably priced, but 25% off is just going to make it so much more affordable for folks in an already increasingly expensive trail running environment. So hop on ultimatedirection.com, get yourself a new vest, a pack, or any hydration solution, and let me know what you guys think.